Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pixel Ship Podcast. This is episode 6. Today is March the 26th, 2014. As always, I am joined by Joel Hartlob.
Hello.
Ryan Blandy.
I'm a rhinestone cowboy.
Neil Lebo.
Hello.
And myself, Ryan Hayes. And we make up pixelship.net, the website for video game reviews, news, and kind of whatever else we can cram up there. So as always, we're going to start with what we've been playing this week. Let's start with you, Ryan. What have you been playing this week?
I got Infamous.
Oh, the new Infamous. How are you liking that?
Infamous! It's a good time. If you like the old Infamouses, guess what? You might like this one. It's a glorious romp of wonderful times.
I did enjoy the old Infamouses. I would say that they weren't super deep. I guess I only played the only Infamous, right? There was only one.
What, you never beat it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
I don't beat
the story,
many games.
when you beat it, it's masterful.
See, I feel like the story that I played was like, hey, do you want to help this puppy or do you want to stomp on this puppy's head? You'll get points for either.
Agreed.
Like, it didn't seem, their whole, like, morality meter did not seem the most revolutionary. Was, do you want to be red or blue?
Well, you didn't play enough.
Yeah.
Most morality meters, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then there's usually that gray choice, and that's about it.
I feel like at least, the later, outer space soap opera. God damn it, what is it called? Mass Effect. While, yes, it was black and white, like, at least those choices were more interesting and felt like they had more pertinence to the overall story, even if they did or didn't.
Fallout 3, I feel like, has kind of...
Yeah, I think there's a handful of games that did an okay job, but back to Infamous. You enjoying the world, the gameplay?
Yeah,
it looks gorgeous. You did.
It was fantastic. A little shorter.
How many hours?
Than the other two, but it was graphics were great, wondrous.
It's a damn
the
good game.
gameplay was delightful. You got the smoke powers that are just pretty much the electric powers, just smoke. And then you got these neon powers then, because this dude's not like Cole, where it's just electricity. He's like Rogue, so he sucks up everybody's powers.
I saw that you could drain lights from the neon on cars.
Yeah, the neon light thing, you go super fast, and it's a lot of fun. The neon's my favorite. And then there was video, and you suck up video stuff, and you can go invisible, and bring down angels, and it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. If you don't like the Infamous games, don't pick it up. However, it is selling the PS4 more.
I was going to say, do you feel like that is a system seller?
Oh, it is a freaking system seller.
I mean, there's not a lot out for that system to begin with, so anything of any salt.
Well, apparently in the UK, PS4 rose to 106% sold because of Infamous.
I don't understand that math. How do you sell 106?
Okay, from what it was selling at.
So it was 100%, 106% increase.
Yes, increase, yes.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a need for some good PS4 games. There's definitely been a lack. Have you been playing anything else, or pretty much Infamous playing through the entire thing? I imagine
I played through the entire thing, did everything. I also played some Team Fortress, but I'll get to that later, because I got ran about that.
Okay.
And then, actually, I think that was it. No, that's it.
How long is Infamous? What's the...
Infamous? It took me 20 hours?
That's a good size.
At least. Maybe 30? But only because I did everything.
I feel like 20 hours is like...
But still 20 hours.
The ideal, like, this is a, substantial game. Like, I feel like anything over 20 hours, you're like, okay, that is a...
But 20 hours to do everything in an open world game.
Well, that's a good point.
I mean, the thing is, I didn't take in anything. I didn't just like
plowed
go
through
around for fun. No, I had to do stuff.
Yeah. I don't complete enough games to, be able to say with any authority what an open world game should take to complete. I also almost never 100% games.
And that's the problem. I did not have time to 100% this game. So when I had to do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
To fully enjoy the game. Now, granted,
I mean, you didn't have time. What do you mean when you say that?
You had a deadline.
I just, there's too many games coming out. I gotta beat games real quick. I mean, I think last year the only game that I completed was like Tomb Raider.
Are you gonna write a review on this game?
Yeah. You should.
Sounds like a great idea.
But regardless,
Subject change.
regardless,
Deflected.
it's a pretty good game. The main character is a lot more likable too. Instead of Cole's just like, "Hi, I'm Cole.
Cole was a
I'm
fucking
gruff
emo kid.
superhero." Delson was kind of like anti-government. I'm having fun with my powers. This is awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm not to offend anyone with the name Delson, but what the fuck kind of name is Delson? I don't think I've ever
He's a
heard that
Native
name
American.
before. Oh, alright, there we go.
You just offended a lot of people.
I'm just saying, I've never fucking heard of anyone named Delson, fiction or otherwise. Maybe it's a very popular name. Word. Well, yeah, it's definitely a game that I've been kind of had my eye on. I still don't have a PS4, but that's one that I'll probably pick up.
Yeah, like if you get a PS4, boom, you should get this.
Along with nothing else.
Yep, pretty much. That's the only physical game I own.
Well, I'm getting Metal Gear, but that's...
I still haven't played it.
Yeah, I have to get it, but
I won't do it yet.
that's for another time.
No used came in yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading some stuff about that, and I kind of retract my statement last week about the side missions, considering there's, like 4 of them?
I'm
In that game?
not sure. Yeah, there's, like, the weird, like, retro thing. There's, like, the alternate story paths or, like, alternate timeline virtual missions? I don't know what the fuck you call them.
It's
I
a load
call
of
him
crap.
Kojima going like, well, we can't really put out this thing.
I
Well,
call
we
it
want you to put out
18
something this year.
minutes.
Yeah, it's not 18 goddamn minutes, but I understand why people are upset. And it's only going to get cheaper. By the time I get a PS4, that thing's going to be $10, so I'm not really sweating it.
Actually, there was a dude who did it in 6, I heard.
Yep.
6 minutes?
Yeah, 6
Yeah.
minutes.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty bad, but pretty cool.
Except he paid $30 for it. I'm sure he played it before that to get to that 6 minutes. But
I don't think anyone's initial run through is gonna be 6 minutes.
That's not possible.
Or is it?
Well, we'll see. I'll do my best when I finally get a copy. Alright, Neil, how about you? What have you been playing this week?
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah!
A lot of Super Mario Brothers 3.
How do you like Super Mario Brothers 3? Now, just to preface this, have you ever played Super Mario Brothers 3?
I can remember playing it once at like a family gathering, probably for a total of, I don't know, 6 lives, maybe.
I don't know, like, I kind of envy you being able to play some of these games for the first time, like... well, first of all, how are you liking Super Mario Brothers 3?
It is relatively infuriating. I think I said today I've never rage quit a game as much as I have with Super Mario Brothers 3.
I feel like that can be said about a lot of Nintendo games, though. Like, I remember when I was little, just hitting a wall over and over and over until, I mean, again, these games were Nintendo hard. Like, that was a thing to extend the value. And I think a lot of people kind of go into Super Mario Brothers 3 as like, oh, how is it hard? How, do you not know those levels inside and out? But for a lot of people, I've played that game 100 million goddamn times. Like, I do know every level, every box like the back of my hand, but...
Right, and the reason you get to that level is because it's fucking hard. You know what I mean?
You have to, yeah. It
like
forces your hand.
Right. You just have to get really good at it, or else it's impossible.
Well, you're a
Well,
couple worlds in. Like, have you
I'm at
seen
the
most
point
of the
now
suits?
where I can easily get through the first 2 worlds.
Okay.
The third world is giving me a good amount of trouble.
The ice
Third
worlds
world?
always suck.
Well, the third world is the water world, right?
Yeah, that's the water.
That's the one that I always got stuck at too.
Oh, was ice 4?
Ice is 6.
Holy crap!
I'll-
I guess I don't remember that game.
I'll be
as well
totally
as I thought.
honest. 90% of the time, even when I first started playing that game, I would just get the whistles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like that was it, or the flutes, or whatever the hell they were.
Right,
And
the whistle.
so, I don't think I played 90% of that game. Like, I would get to World 2, use the whistle, bounce to 4, use a whistle, and bounce to 8. I think was how it went down, or something like that.
yeah, but I think a lot of that is, you
you
know,
can get 2 whistles in World 1.
Yeah,
And
There's
you
no
can
save
go to
point.
8
yeah.
from there.
so you kind of need that if you want to play all the worlds. If you kind of want to come back at multiple sittings, you know.
Right, and that's why it's good, and that's why I'm trying not to use the whistles, is because I would like to see the whole game.
Use them as save games almost.
Right. As a way to, I don't know. They had that whole password thing that happened with NES.
Mega Man.
As a way, the Metroid. Did Metroid use passwords?
I think the original.
The
did,
original,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, as a way to like get around saving, and I think that Super Mario Brothers tried to do it with the whistles. I think
I
that's.
thought that was a clever idea, though. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't-
definitely.
There's a big world in Super Mario. Is one of my favorites.
That was number 4, I think.
Is that number 4?
I think it's number
Okay.
4.
Yeah, there's some really, really creative worlds, and I think that's why it's kind of held in such high regard. Is every world is fairly unique. You know, of course, there's going to be water levels, and there's going to be pipe levels and cave levels and stuff like that. But it changes up a lot that a lot of games in that era did not, for such a limited palette too. That's very impressive. You know, you got to remember these games are crammed on a couple megs, if that, of data.
Yeah.
Um,
I
excellent.
still say of all of them though, Super Mario World was my favorite.
The original.
No,
No,
Oh,
the one
World.
for Super-
yeah,
for
the one for.
SNES.
Yeah, I may agree with you. There's a very special place in my heart for 3 because I think that's the first one that I've played to death, just constantly put in because there was so much content. But I think as a game, Super Mario World is probably better. Better system, better controls.
I mean, when I was embarking on this whole trying to get a foundation in video games by playing these old systems, I looked up a lot of lists of the greatest games for the NES, and Super Mario Brothers 3 was always in the top 3,
Yeah.
no matter what, and usually number 1.
Understandably so.
That's why I started with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crushing time for me. It's something that you really don't have to invest a lot of time into a sitting because you're gonna get agitated.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very easy to move on to doing something else in the day.
Well, also when you get a game over, you get a game over to a certain point. Like that is a excellent excuse to be like, well, I'm either going to start over and invest another 2 hours into this, or I can be done.
Right. Well, you can continue, which is one good thing. You can continue at the beginning of the world that you're in.
You don't get infinite continues, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, but it just resets all the levels.
Right. It resets everything in that world. So
Yeah.
And you go back to 3 lives
Yep.
and no
Thanks.
items.
I think you start with 4, and you do retain your items too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never mind then.
Oh, weird. Like all your power-up suits and everything?
Right. You retain all that. You
Even
lose your
smart.
cards, but that's it. That's what you lose. Your
Huh.
cards and the levels you beat on that world.
I might have to fire that up this week. It's been a little while since I've played it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be writing a review on that
Excellent.
and first impressions. And I just fired up for the first time Legend of Zelda today.
Okay.
Once again, surprisingly more challenging than I would think it would be.
If you
There's
don't
just-
know what you're getting into, that game
Yep.
is fucking difficult.
Right. So like I said, I probably played 20 minutes, and died like 4 times.
Yeah.
It's just you get to certain parts of the map where with your sword you cannot damage these enemies. Like, can't be done.
Well, yeah, there's upgrades and power-ups and items and stuff.
Right.
But that's
There-
the point of that game.
There are things that you don't have.
If you're playing this without a guide, get graph paper, man.
Bravo.
Get graph paper and start drawing that fucking world map. Also do that because I really want to see a hand-drawn Zelda world map in a modern age.
I mean, one thing that I did play, I played the NES version, and what is it, Link's Awakening,
You mean the SNES version? Or no?
or the Game Boy version?
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
This SNES was...
Mhm.
And I definitely didn't map anything out.
No, but I think that world's a bit more manageable.
Yeah.
It's also
probably is.
better graphics, I want to say.
It's possible.
Smaller.
That first game, too, just drops you in the middle of nowhere. It's like,
Yeah,
good luck.
and that's what I mean. Like, you're in the middle of nowhere, you go into a cave, you get a sword.
Shit,
and then
you don't even have to get that sword. If you don't know any better, you could walk past that.
Right, yeah. And
It's
I
not
did.
likely, but, it's
The
a black
first
box
time?
at the top of your screen.
The first time, I did walk past that.
That's fucking
I was like,
awesome.
There's probably something back there that I need because I can't touch anything here. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Nintendo always did a good job of kind of not holding your hand, but kind of giving you what you need to slowly unwrap the world. I think they get a lot of credit for thoughtful game design, and even if you don't get it on your first try, they always kind of nudge you in the right direction after your 32nd or 34th attempt at something.
Yeah, sorta. Yeah. I don't know. Lack of tutorial levels, lack of any kind of, I don't know. The learning curve is a lot higher, a lot steeper, I guess, than with modern games, and just generally
pop-ups.
generally harder.
But you
even-
also... I mean, you're looking at the day of when instruction manuals were actually a thing.
Yeah.
More than a piece of paper in a box that says, hey, go to this website. But you don't really even need to do that anymore because the games teach you, you have to go through these tutorial levels and all that.
Yeah, I hate them. Don't you hate them? Like, let's be
Tutorial
honest.
levels?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I would much rather the instruction guide.
Oh, me too.
I like tutorial levels that are done in a way where it's not explaining things to you, but they hit a roadblock and they're like, look, man, if you don't figure out how to do this, you're not going to get any further in this game. Like, I think that is probably the most elegant way to do it, I'm beating a dead horse, but I think Portal does that really well of, look, man, you're not getting to the other side of this cliff until you figure out how to use two portals effectively. Like, sorry. Like, kind of gradually stepping up, Metroid does that in a way of, hey, your thing is useless until you get something else, come back here later.
Right.
That's not really a tutorial to me. That's just,
Well, it
That's a
teaches
game.
you
Part of
how
the
to
game.
use the
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
that's just gameplay.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas the tutorial is literally like, press this button to do this.
A
Press
tutorial
this button
becomes
to
a
do this.
crutch for inefficient gameplay, I guess.
Right. So, I mean, that's one thing that I do like, because I hate tutorials so much, and I do like a steep learning curve when it comes to games. As many times as I've rage quit Super Mario Brothers 3, I really do enjoy the game. And I do like that, I don't know, that sense of accomplishment when you do beat a level that you haven't before. It reminds me of Super Meat Boy to an extent, but even Super Meat Boy, you save, like you
Well,
once
there's
you beat
checkpoints,
something,
yeah.
it's then beaten. So I think that you can rely on just hammering through a level and then forgetting about it forever. And with Super Mario Brothers, next time you fire it up, you're playing that level again.
Yeah, the first world you can do in your sleep at the end of that because you've
Right.
played it literally 100 times,
Right. So
Excellent.
that's another thing that I like. That's it for me. That's what
What about
I'm-
you, Joel? What have you been up to?
Diablo 3.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday.
How you liking that?
Well, I only got to play a couple hours, but so far it's it's nice. I mean, it's more of the same, more or less. They
Different
added-
worlds, different monsters, different
they
items.
They added a whole new act.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been working through that lately. I spent time over the weekend leveling up my highest character to 60 finally, because I had not done that yet, which was the
Okay.
max
Congrats.
before. So I finally got that done. Actually, Monday night, I think.
Is there a new level cap with the expansion, or that was just part of the updates?
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure if it was part of the update or not, but I know the expansion definitely added it to 70.
Okay.
But I don't know if you get it without the expansion or not.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I'm not sure on the details there.
The more I hear about the expansion set, the more the little voice in the back of my head's like, you should really play Diablo 3 again. Because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but that's how they got me the first time. I don't know.
I'm not going to buy the expansion, but...
I'll be honest, I'm digging it now. I like the new loot system.
It's a lot easier, right? That's
Yeah. They also changed the way quests and stuff work. Sort of. I don't know. Like when you join a game, you join at a certain point in the quest, and you just go from there. So basically, what I was doing was I was just joining games that were in the middle of Act 3, and just kept rolling through Act 4, and just got a crap ton of experience because they had a 100% experience buff over the weekend.
Oh, see, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
And what difficulty were you on?
Expert. Just doing it on expert.
Is that 3?
That's the third level because it's normal, hard, and then expert. I was doing hard by myself for a bit, and it was really easy, so I stepped it up. And
Is there no more
there
like,
is the
normal nightmare hell?
no. It's normal, hard, expert, master, and then there's 6 different levels of torment.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't tried anything above expert yet because I just didn't really. Well, I was just leveling
Son of
up
a
before.
bitch! I have to fire up this stupid game again.
See, and that's the thing. It's like someone starts talking about it, and I'm like, fuck, I should play that game. It's never like on your own. It's just when people are talking about it, be like, yeah, I did have fun.
Yeah, more or less. It was. I mean, the reason I got back into it was the expansion, and people started picking it up. All the hype around the Loot 2.0 system and all that stuff. The auction houses closing. I don't know. It's just got me feeling the itch again.
Well, we got 3 people, so I don't know if Blandy has it, but if you guys want to fire it up one night, let me know. I think I'm down. If you guys want to play the original again, I'm totally down for that.
All right, I gotta dig it out. I definitely uninstalled it long ago.
Yeah.
And my account was hacked at one point.
Really?
Yeah. But I did eventually get Blizzard to restore, but I haven't been in it since they restored it. So
You know, I have no idea if my fucking account was hacked because I couldn't tell you the last time I was in it.
All right.
So it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they sent me an email. So we think your account might be hacked. I went in, and sure as shit, all my stuff was gone. It was pretty sweet.
Well, I think that was part of their motivation
blows.
for making a lot of the legendaries and stuff bind to your account.
Mhm.
So
You can't
you
lose
have
it.
like a 2-hour window to trade it with anyone that was in the game with you. Like if you pick something up that you don't need but someone else might be able to use. But beyond that, it's linked to your account. So even if somebody hacked your account, it's not like they can take it and get anything from it. Plus, without the auction,
They can get all your gold.
yeah, but without the auction house, it doesn't. I mean, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I mean-
there's no income anymore. There's no incentive.
Gold is used for crafting, which you can actually craft certain legendaries and set items. But beyond that, there's no auction house anymore.
Yeah, I played that game for hundreds of hours. Literally hundreds of hours. And I maybe got 4 or 5 legendaries total. And
I've gotten like
I-
6 in the past weekend.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And
Yeah.
that's what I hear from everybody that I talk to about it now is they're like, yeah, legendaries are not a big deal. Like, you just get them, and you break them down for crafting. And I'm like, what? You do what? What?
I haven't broken mine down because I'm either using them or I put them in storage for alts. when
I
I'm
have this
up for-
priceless painting, but I really need the canvas more, so I'm just gonna prime this and start over.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like. So,
Yeah.
from what I extrapolate, it's a lot easier. Also, people have told me about getting to level 60 in like 2 days with the new system. Just because the loot that it drops is so character specific, you can just run through difficulties like you couldn't the first.
See, that's what I think if we start playing again, like, and I power level my guys, be like, well, I've got this level 60 now, I might as well.
I mean, there was a dude I was talking to who said he got like from level he gained like 50 levels in like 2 hours. He said because he went in a room with his clan, a game with his clan, and with like the experience buff and all that, and like he had all this extra gear too that gave you experience bonus.
Mhm.
But he said he went up like 50 levels in about 2 hours with people helping him through like Torment 2 or something like that.
That's almost not fun.
I guess-
Like, I actually want to play it again.
Yeah, and I mean,
Right,
the-
but if
the
you want to
problem
get to
then-
the level that we're at, I think that would be, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
But
What else?
I'm totally down for playing. So if you guys are on, so let me
Hard
know.
to find where I put it.
Yeah. Let me make sure that my account wasn't hacked and yada yada yada. But
Even if it was, you can get Blizzards to restore it. It just takes forever.
yeah.
Maybe not at this point because it's been a long time, probably.
I can always create a new account. I didn't have a credit card or anything attached to it.
True.
I guess that's true.
All right. Well, you been playing anything else, or you?
Not really. I didn't really. That's not true. I played a little bit of Rogue Legacy.
Okay. How you liking that?
It's okay. It's interesting, different.
I think it's a lot of fun. I like the variety that you get out of that game.
I mean, I don't know. It's just. I guess it would take a little bit more. I only played like an hour of it. I feel like it's like one of those games I'd have to put a little bit more time in to kind of like see what it's all about. But I played a little bit of that last week.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, you have to invest a lot, not a
Yeah.
lot of time, but a good amount of time till you can start getting farther. And
Because I don't think I've made it past like 6 rooms.
yeah,
I was pretty bad at it.
yeah, but then you get into your groove of the characters that you like to play with, and like the I don't know, just your overall play style, and you can definitely make it farther and farther with those characters. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably 2 or 3 hours into it, and I can't even hold my own in like the extra, like the forest or whatever level 2 is. Like I'm way, that is
I was
definitely
still in the castle.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I have 2-3 times the amount of time that you have in it, and
Yeah.
I'm still in the castle too. So
I found the
it's-
boss at one point, and it just murdered me in about 30 seconds.
the huge eyeball.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's like a bullet hell boss. Like that's just kind of learning the patterns and getting around him and slowly chipping away at his health.
Yeah, I did beat him. The other guy is this like the boss in the forest one is a wolf kind of thing.
Mhm.
Or no, it's one of those huge skulls that shoot stuff out of it. They
Oh,
just
good.
float and shoot stuff out
I
of it.
fucking hate those.
Yeah, they're really hard. And this boss shoots out more of those skulls, and he himself shoots a lot of stuff out of him.
That
It's,
doesn't
it's
sound
really,
like fun.
it's rough. It's
I
rough.
enjoy the game. I equate that game to Spelunky in like I want to play a game for 30 minutes and just kind of chip away at it and enjoy every minute of it, even though I'm dying every 30 seconds.
What's the thing too? Is like every time you die, you lose your map progress. Unless you you can pay that dude to.
Yeah, but I like that you get a different character every time you die. Like it's just kind of a roll of the dice of like, oh yeah, I'm more powerful, or I can't get knocked back, or everything is in black and white, or
I'll be honest. I was really confused when I died with the first character or whatever, and then the second character was like Lady Elizabeth, but it looked exactly like the character before. I was like, this is not a lady, and then I realized that the only difference is it has a little pink bow on the head.
Yep. Did you guys get the trait of the one yet?
Yes, I did.
oh,
That was
where
like-
everything, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
They do a lot, like even like the nearsightedness. I think is clever.
It's a little cheeky. Like there's one that
I like the nostalgia one.
nostalgic
Sepia
where it
filter.
says, instead of loading it says reminiscing.
Or
thought that was
alt,
pretty good.
Where it's not
Yeah, they do a good job of like all the little text, like really, really subtle things that get
Yeah.
changed when you have different qualities. It is a very well thought out. But excellent. Is that pretty much it for you?
Yep.
All right. Well, I've been playing a couple different things. A lot of Mountain Blade Warband, per the request of Joel. There's actually a feature up on the website. We're doing a feature now where we're kind of pushing each other to play games out of our normal comfort zone. Give it a few hours. We kind of set the time for 3 hours to get a good taste for a game. And I have to say, Joel, you're right. I enjoyed that game, starting at about hour 2. Starting to get in the groove, started having, a group of 40 guys, 50 guys, roaming around, causing a little bit of havoc, and it is a lot of fun.
It's addicting.
And then I had 4 roving marauders attack me, one after another, wiped out my entire fucking party, and I almost broke my screen. Fortunately, now that I know what the fuck's going on, I was able to start and amass an army pretty quickly. But yeah, that game is just a fucking crawl at the beginning. I was a little messenger boy, oh, find this guy, find this guy. I finally figured out that you could talk to the ladies of the castle to figure out, how to find the people you're actually looking for. So it's just kind of finding ways to get through that world, because it's so mass and so dense. And then probably, one of the more interesting, once you start winning favor, you start getting more unique missions. Probably the coolest one, the combat is pretty much the same every single time. It's, your guys versus X number of guys. But occasionally, there was like this merchant talking smack on one of the nobles, and he told me to go shut him up. So it's basically just me and this guy in the town, and you just fucking murder this merchant. And while it wasn't difficult, or it wasn't, no strategy or, flanking or moving troops here and there, it was enough of this is kind of fucking cool, using the same basic tool set that the rest of that game kind of leans on. They managed to cram a bit of variety. I started getting companions, there was like a noble asshole who was like, don't have any of your men fucking talk to me. And then he died and I didn't give a shit. So that, yeah, it is, to your point, it is a game you have to give a fighting chance, but if you like kind of, strategy game isn't a good way to describe it, a sim isn't a good way to describe it, it is...
I think Sim is probably the closest.
It's like a civilization game.
It's like a feudal Sim, sort of. Like, I don't know. It
is first-person Civilization is probably the closest I can come to.
Except you're not really city building or anything.
You're not city building, but it's the relationships and kind of empire building, and your city is your army, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It is that same mentality for me as like, okay.
There's just so much to that game, though, too. Like, you've barely scratched the surface, too.
I'm sure.
Because you can eventually become a vassal, and you get like you actually could get a fief to like take care of like a village, basically. Okay. And you start fighting for these lords, and you can court the ladies, and
yeah, most of the ladies won't give you the time of day, but
you have to like find like bards to teach you songs, so then you can go back and court the ladies.
Yeah, I was wondering what those bards were for. They were just kind of hanging out, and I thought they were just like world information or something like that.
You have to know what kind of stuff the ladies like, and you ask the bards and like other people. It's crazy.
Yeah, I said it in my review. That is a game that I eventually hit the point. I'm like, I need a pen and paper to keep track of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I forgot who I was looking for. Like, there's 4,000 emirs, and I don't know who I was supposed to be delivering what to. Because once you have 3 or 4 missions at a time, it's really like easy to kind of lose track of everything.
Yeah. There's actually a pretty decent mod community with that too. Like I haven't played it like vanilla for a while. I added a couple mods to like change some stuff and add some stuff and kind of streamline some of the menus. Mm-hmm. I think the quest menus, so you actually can like see, because I know some of them are like just cluttered as hell.
Yeah, the game looks. The amount of content doesn't lend it to it, but it looks like that game engine was built, in a couple of weeks. Like, it is super bare bones, but kind of out of necessity, because I just can see the spreadsheets of data that game is pulling from to kind of manage this world of like, okay, there's 100 towns and 20 vassals for each town, and like just managing all that shit. And again, figuring out where the fuck the guy I was supposed to return this
Yeah.
letter to is at any given time is like, I don't know, I got in like 3 battles. I have no idea where I am anymore. Like, but no, I like it. It is definitely something I'm going to go back to. Probably not invest a ton more time, but I can see myself, I played a lot of, I forget the name of it right now, but it was kind of a medieval combat, not simulator, but it's kind of medieval deathmatch game.
Like
Chivalry. Yeah. And I really like those kind of melee-focused death matches, and the battles in Mount and Blade are just really interesting. Like, the AI is kind of a little wonky, like some of my guys, and like the narrow corridors kind of got lost and things
Yeah.
like that. But on a big open field, like when I'm, flanking a group of troops, and my archers are kind of picking them off, like it feels good. It is a very rewarding combat system, especially when you scrape by with a victory that you may or may not have should have won. But yeah. Other than that, I powered through the BioShock Infinite DLC Episode 1 because the new one came out yesterday. And then I played probably about an hour and a half of the new DLC. I was not super pleased with Episode 1 of the BioShock DLC.
What?
It was a lot more of the same. It was cool to be in Rapture again, but
Did you beat it?
yeah, I beat the first DLC because I had to beat that before I played the second one.
Well, then how are you saying what? What are you doing? Oh my god!
Because the second DLC with the new stealth mechanics and the new approach to that
I didn't
game,
play the second episode yet.
it is not the same game, and it is refreshing and is what I wanted out of that DLC. Now, mind you, I'm not super far into it, but I approach every situation now instead of running in with a shotgun and shooting people in the face and jumping on zip lines and melee. Like, the original BioShock Infinite, I thought the weakest point of that game was when I was in a big fight. I did not enjoy the fighting at all. I thought the world was absolutely stunning, the story was interesting, the characters were endearing and sometimes disgusting. But when I got in a big fight, I'm like, alright, I gotta get through this fight to get to the next, set piece. And I felt the first DLC was the same thing. But the new DLC, I don't want to get too much into it because it's brand new. I will eventually be doing a write-up on it. But it is everything I wanted, and I think worth the price of the pass, the season pass, to play that. And like I said, I've only scratched the surface. Supposedly it's a lot longer. The first DLC was, maybe 2 hours? 2.5 maybe. The episode 2, I think, is 10, 15 hours, maybe? I don't know. Like I said,
That's good DLC. That is definitely worth
Yeah.
what is it, $30? $24.99?
I paid $20
not-
for all 3.
It's not even
They're
anymore. Like,
15
it's
bucks a
12
piece.
bucks right now.
$12 for what?
If you buy them, there's 3 pieces of DLC. If you buy them on their own for the PC, they're $15 a piece, I think. And then if you buy all 3 at the same time, it's $20, which I don't understand the economics of that, but just buy all fucking 3. I'm not saying the first one isn't worth playing through. The other one is just an arena combat mode, which I have no desire to play because fuck the combat in that game. But the first one is short. It sets up the world of Rapture, I think, very effectively. Kind of the first front end of that game where it was just kind of you getting into this weird parallel universe where, Elizabeth is kind of the femme fatale or whatever. Like, again, the atmosphere and the story of those games are the most interesting part. But yeah,
Well, no, I think that the combat in BioShock 1 is awesome, too. And I think the difficulty of it is amazing, too. I think, I don't know.
BioShock 1 was amazing just because I had never played a game like that before. Like the combat was the combat. Like I thought it was neat with the plasmids and kind of how you balance what was essentially magic and firepower. Dual wielding.
Right, but you had a very small amount of ammo for both. So
Yeah,
I think that
I feel Infinite. I always had more than enough ammo. Maybe it was the difficulty setting I had it on, but I always felt like a powerhouse going into combat.
I don't think I've really felt that way. There were definitely parts of that game where I was
The-
ducking around.
The big arena battles, whenever there was a skyhook, I guess I didn't use a ton of ammo because I would just jump on the skyhook and then jump and punch him in the face. Like, that was always the most effective way to take guys out. So, like, any of the large combat scenes, almost all of my ammo was just used on the bruisers instead of the henchmen. And, not using ammo on the henchmen, I always had more than enough, I felt. And then Elizabeth would throw me ammo when I ran out, because... they changed, and I said I'm not going to go too into the DLC, but I think everyone already knows that you play as Elizabeth. And the way that game changes as Elizabeth is you don't have that supporting character. You don't have someone picking locks for you or starting, throwing you health packs and stuff like that. So the way you approach those environments is much more interesting. Kind of lone wolfing it. So yeah.
So then you don't have a companion at all?
Not where I am.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. It is refreshing. It is everything I wanted out of the DLC. I can say that much so far. Unless something catastrophically changes, halfway through that DLC, this is the expansion set to the original StarCraft, where they changed up just enough to make it really interesting. I really liked the Brood War. No, the original StarCraft. Brood War, isn't it?
Brood War, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that changed up a lot. That's just the first one that comes to mind where I felt like I was playing an addition to the game.
It felt like an expansion of the game as opposed to an entirely new game.
Exactly. Building on what they've learned from the original. And other than that, I've been playing a little.
RTSs do a really good job with expansions.
Yeah, but I feel like that's easy because you just have a map. If you have a very set engine and a game like BioShock, which is basically a narrative engine, get to point A to point B, I think it's a lot harder to change all that stuff up without just, hey, shoot shit in a different area. Which I felt exactly what the first DLC was. But yeah, we'll go into more of that once it's out for a little while. I'll get a write-up on the site as I'm playing that. But I guess we can move on to news now. I guess, does anyone have anything that they kind of want to bring up? I have a couple things, but Blandy mentioned that he had a rant he wanted to get on, so maybe we should get that out of the way.
Oh, well, alright. So have you guys heard about this dude that's recording people and the horrible things they say on, Call of Duty?
I have not, no.
Okay, so there's this dude. He's making YouTube videos of just recording people and how horrible they are.
Sure,
just people go hey, fuck you, you fucking faggot.
I slept with your mother, your father is an adulterer. Yeah, sure.
Bullying online and making them accountable.
You were born out of wedlock.
Your grandmother doesn't love you.
All these things, all these terrible, terrible things.
So just the
that's interesting. And then you just post weed smoker, no scope 360, said this kind of thing. Is he calling people out specifically?
No, he's recording what they say and then just putting it on.
Okay. Yeah, but is he doing anything to point these people out, or is it just a video saying, "Look at"?
No, it's just unprovoked.
Okay.
No. What he's trying to ask is he having their usernames up there? Is he
is he calling people to, maybe talk some sense into these fellas? If I saw,
Not the ones that I saw. It's just exposing
Well, I think that's a thing that needs to happen to some degree. Like, I think where
I agree.
people are just scum on some of these video
People
games. Like,
are scum
I just
on these multiplayer games.
the way they treat one another, and it's that whole anonymity thing. It is,
Yep.
I'm hiding
Hey.
behind this profile, and you know,
Yeah, but it's like it's macho chauvinistic posturing too. Like it's just it's I don't know.
and I've always
It's
kind of brushed it
de-evolving
off.
humanity to an extent.
No, I've always brushed it off as younger kids, though. Look, we were all a 12-year-old boy at some point, and I'm sure we're not very proud of the things we said or did as 12-year-old us's. You know, and I
That
hope
was
a lot
delight.
of that.
I would have never done these things.
I'm sure you were. I'm not saying everyone falls into this category, but I know I was a giant piece of shit as an adolescent. And if some of the things I said in, you know, Quake Deathmatch, you know, well, I guess typed in Quake Deathmatch, I never fucking said anything.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
no one
if
had
it
that
would've
kind of
been tight,
bandwidth.
It would have been fine.
But yeah, I'm sure I was a piece of garbage back then, and I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, 25 to 40-year-olds out there who are, you know, no good and are saying awful things. But I feel that most of the time I'm annoyed with someone or have to mute someone in a game. Clearly they are male, and clearly they are of a certain age.
I reported them.
You reported who?
I reported someone on Steam
For what?
for harassment and bullying.
Oh, all right. Well, if they were being a giant jerk off,
What do you? Well, what happened? What's the story here?
Oh man, like I've never been more pissed off.
All right, here comes the rant. Let's hear the rant,
And
Blammy.
we've all
So
seen
I'm
him very
playing
pissed off.
Man versus Machine. You
Uh-huh.
know, I love the Team Fortress.
Absolutely.
All right, playing Man versus Machine. I want to get an item. Everyone wants to get an item. So I'm playing this, and I come in, and I'm the medic, my best class. I love the medic. Now these fucking horrible people. I should have known something was off when they went like, "Oh, the last medic was a piece of shit." They were in. It was 1 out of 7. All right.
Mhm.
So then I came in, and we won up to 6. And then this douchebag starts going like, "Hey medic, you need to fucking crits me and heal me," and I'm like, "We've been winning, buddy. I don't know what. Stop telling me what to do."
So what happened where you felt
winning.
compelled
It's okay.
to report him?
He was just constantly belittling me, calling me names. And I went like, "Dude, calm down. We're all having a
It's fucking recess all over again, man.
You've besmirched my honor, sir.
Like, yeah,
There should be
I
a
shall-
like challenge
I shall
you
report
to a
the
duel.
authorities immediately.
I did. I fucking reported his ass after he kicked me from the game. At the end,
I
they used me, and then kicked me at the end for no reason.
Man,
I'm
you
like, come
feel
on.
like a college girl right now.
It was
I was thinking
ridiculous,
it.
and it was
used for the night and
Not
thrown
boring.
aside.
Walk of shame.
Unfortunate.
I was
Okay.
pissed.
Well, do you have any news other than some assholes besmirching your good name on the internet?
They besmirched me.
I mean,
I
hey,
didn't like it.
if you were a better medic, you wouldn't have this problem.
All right. Let's
am
not
listening.
instigate him.
I breathe medic.
What? So give me just a little taste of the names that he was calling you. Let's just a
Said
little
it
bit.
was bad medic. That's bullshit.
It's not a
Not a
name.
name.
How dare he say that?
Said
I-
it was bad medic, and
Let's
I was
hunt him.
an asshole, and I was being a prick. I
Okay.
went like, "Hey man, there's no name. There's no need for name calling."
Nobody's calling anyone a jive turkey.
Call
Calm
me
down.
Not nice, and I didn't understand why this was happening.
Well, good story.
All right. Well, let's move on to some current events.
Well, I've got another one. How about the Facebook?
I think we should do that last because I think everyone might have a lot to say. So, first of all, they announced some Game Boy Advance games coming to the Wii U in April. This is, I believe, probably the first proper Wii U Virtual Console announcement. There's not a lot of Wii U exclusive or Wii U focused Virtual Console games. It's a lot of like Mario RPGs and some Kirby games, a lot of Nintendo first party stuff. There's just a video kind of floating around. So yeah, that should be interesting to kind of see how that plays. I think there was a little bit of a backlash. People were saying, oh, you should put the DS on there. The DS is a perfect fit. But I think they're still just trying to get traction with the Wii U, and I think they're looking for a very small upfront investment at this point.
Yeah, is that doing any better? I mean, are they saying any?
The Wii U? Nah, not really. Now that the consoles are out and more available, and Titanfall is out, and Second Son is out, and there's actually stuff to play on these new consoles, they got a rough road ahead of them. Again, not doomsaying Nintendo. Nintendo's going to be totally fine. Their 3DS alone is going to keep that company afloat for a little while. But
Right,
yeah,
but Sony has capital to throw at it. Microsoft has capital to throw at.
Nintendo has capital to throw at it. Nintendo is in no financial shortage.
What else do they make?
The Nintendo 3DS.
Okay, all right, but all right.
And
Just the amount
not
of
just
money
in
that-
America,
that
but
Microsoft can throw in.
yes, I would say that they have more money beyond, just the Nintendo is Nintendo. They don't do anything else. They're not making, grabbers and Hanafuda cards anymore. Like, they've got video games and nothing else. Microsoft is Microsoft, Sony is Sony, and while they're different parts of the company, yes, to your point, they have some money to move around if need be. But Nintendo was the king forever, and they've always been conservative with, their costs. They generally don't take losses on anything. So they're fine. The new Virtual Console stuff, I can't imagine costs them a ton, and in my opinion, they're stupid and overpriced to begin with. Paying $20, $15 for a Virtual Console game. I guess if you don't have the consoles or something like Earthbound came out, that's $100 if you want the original cart. It made sense for me to buy it, but a lot of games I'd rather just own the originals.
Did you play it?
Earthbound? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't play through it. I was at like the first main boss, an hour or so in. But I'll go back to it. It's one that I'll like fire up. And what I like about the off screen on the Wii U is I can be watching, The Wire and then be playing some Virtual Console games. And I bought all the ones that were like, 10 cents or 99 cents or whatever when they were doing the console launch promotion. So I got Punch Out and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't see the Virtual Console stuff as ever super exciting. It's just nice to see there's a lot of really good GBA games. Probably the one that I was most excited during the announcement was Advanced Wars, which I fucking loved, and can see tempting me when it gets launched. Other than that, the new Assassin's Creed Unity teaser trailer came out. Not a whole lot to say about this other than it is set during the French Revolution. And while I'm not a super huge fan of the Assassin's Creeds, I played most of them. I enjoy them. Kind of getting a little sick of them. But the French Revolution seems like a cool fucking time period for an open world game. Obviously it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But I don't know. It looks interesting. I'd be curious to kind of see what they're doing with this now. If they're going to kind of, if you guys ever played the pirate adventure Assassin's Creed that came out most recently, it's gotten a little weird. in the way they kind of deal with the real world and virtual world kind of things from the original games. But it looked interesting. And then this is, I debate calling it news. This is a rumor, and it is kind of on the heels of what we will talk about next, which is the Oculus Rift news. But more and more stuff is coming about the PS4 virtual reality headset. There was a lot of use at GDC this past week, and they're targeting $300 price tag for this as well. So everyone's just trying to go at the jugular of Oculus Rift with the recent news. Just trying to get as much press as they can, as everyone on the internet at least looks like they want to jump ship. And that kind of moves us to the big news of this week.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
When you say they want to jump ship, what does that mean? Jump ship from...
So we're going to talk about that right now.
Okay. All right.
So it was announced yesterday or 2 days ago that... Sorry?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. That Facebook bought Oculus Rift, the company, for $2 billion. This was announced in a press release by Mark Zuckerberg on his platform of choice, Facebook. It is, a couple paragraphs of text basically saying, they're excited about the new technology. Then they kind of go into some interesting things, talking about while, Oculus Rift is getting its start in video games, they are looking into more immersive technologies beyond games, and they equate or conjure up the ideas of being kind of in the front row of your favorite basketball game, or sitting in class during lectures, and kind of alluding to wanting to use Oculus Rift beyond the video game platform. Now, this caused a figurative shitstorm on the internet. Probably the website or aggregate I frequent most is Reddit, as I'm sure a lot of people do. And it basically seemed like somebody shot the internet's fucking dog. People were livid and feeling betrayed and really, really fucking heartbroken. And I am not going to step up and be the guy to defend Facebook. I am not happy that of all the companies in the world to buy Oculus Rift, Facebook is probably one step above EA for companies I would never in a million fucking years want anything to do with my life ever again. But it was a business decision. I think a lot of the hurt and a lot of the betrayal came from the fact that it was birthed from a Kickstarter campaign. And while people don't understand necessarily that does not make you an investor, but more of a supporter, I understand why people are upset. Probably the person of note who kind of made their voice heard the loudest was Notch, the creator of Minecraft. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but basically saying, I didn't donate $10,000, to the Oculus to see it purchased by Facebook. And he said that he would be pulling development for the Oculus Rift for Minecraft. Now, he has a lot of sway. He makes and breaks a lot of opinions. He is, people look up to him. He is a self-made game developer.
Sounds like a bit of a prick, too.
I kind of agree with you in that respect. Not that he's necessarily a prick, but that he is being very defensive. Mind you, he had a very large sum of money kind of thrown at the Oculus Rift, as he does for, the Humble Indie bundles and various other projects around the web. Again, his name carries a lot of weight, so when you see Notch, donating to the Humble Indie Bundle, it gets a lot of attention, and he does a lot of good PR for decent online causes. But I think the important thing to take away from this is the people who back the Kickstarter are not investors. You agreed to give these people money to get them their start, but you have no stock. This is not your project. And yes, they were amazing, and their community has been fantastic, and they were constantly on the web talking to people and taking input and working with developers to create what most of us have had some exposure to it in one way or another, whether it's videos or being able to use it in person. People are taking it very personally, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's Facebook, and fuck Facebook and this, that, the other thing.
It's not a classy move for Oculus to do this. It's not a classy move.
But $2 billion.
Yeah,
they had the $2 billion.
I would sell out too.
Yeah, see it through till the end. The job wasn't done.
The job wasn't done.
They got money from investors. They half did the job, or not from investors, then from supporters. Half did the job and then sold the company. It's not a good move in my opinion. I'm not pissed at Facebook for buying them. I'm pissed at them for selling.
No, and I think that is an opinion I've actually seen a lot of as well. As look, man, you didn't even give it a shot. You didn't even attempt to do this by yourself, and from a fiscal point of view, you could have been making $2 billion your first year having a public product. It's all speculation at this point because we'll never know. But I totally agree. I think it was premature. I don't know. It seems weird if maybe you made an app or something that you could walk away from and something you wouldn't have involvement with. Selling that for, Wet's app or whatever for $1 billion. Look, that's super tempting. But I don't understand what they hope to gain by selling off.
They hope to gain money. They are millionaires now. It's okay.
They're billionaires now.
But did they need the money? Like, look, not to say if someone
did
said
they
they'd
need the money? I think I like money.
But
not whether or not they needed it though, and maybe that's what
right. But they
people
could
are
have
upset about.
Yeah.
I guess the speculation is you could have had $2 billion in 5 years versus right now. So again, no one can say that with any authority. And
I mean, I guess
still owned a product that they were supposedly passionate about. I mean, I've seen the hardware. It looks like they were passionate about.
Yeah, every video I've seen, they were all, and like I said, their involvement in the community proved that they cared about this shit.
Here's something too. I mean, just because they sold the company doesn't mean that they're going away from the project.
No, and Facebook has said they're going to have no involvement until this thing is commercial. Like,
yeah, I mean, and so
yes,
it's a matter of whether the money goes in their pockets or whether it goes towards development of the Rift.
I guess it just seems like they didn't need the money. That's what I don't understand.
Oh yeah, they didn't need the money.
However, I mean,
but
don't get me wrong. I'm kind of annoyed by this whole thing too because I feel like it's going to be directed in less of a gaming. Like they've already said
that
they already said
my
they have,
biggest
but
fear.
the fact is though, like with more money gives them more capital, more things, more to use to develop it, right? So yeah, they could scrounge along and get whatever money they have from Kickstarters and all that stuff, but with the $2 billion they get from Facebook, and as long as they're actually using it to develop the Oculus Rift, you might get a better product faster than you would from years and years of scrounging along from donations from people from a Kickstarter. And if that's the motivation, then it sucks that it's from Facebook, but kudos to them for kind of...
Didn't they blow out of the water every goal that they had on Kickstarter?
Yeah, but their goal was very conservative to begin with. I think it was less than $1 million to begin with.
It's like 250,000 or something like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And all right.
So, and look, I'm not ready to pass judgment. I feel like we're all hurt just because it's Facebook, man. Like, no one wanted to see that.
Mark Zuckerberg old yellowed the Oculus Rift. That's what happened.
And that's the thing. Like with the big competition being Sony, and Sony's headset is going to be usable for PC and PS4.
Soon too. They're again
Yeah,
rumors
like,
only 2015. Like
this
they're
only hurts the Oculus Rift. I don't
Yeah.
want to sign into Facebook to use the Oculus Rift,
well.
but
Yeah.
they're going to make me do it.
That
Or
is a
have
good.
Facebook
That is a
ads
good
every
call.
30 minutes
Yeah.
of gameplay.
I don't want to.
So, but you have to look at it too. Like this hardware has been out for so long. And not to say they can't. And again, this is all speculation because none of us know anything about this. But it's for a computer. I mean, if you look at the Kinect was hacked and put on a PC in a matter of months. Like I feel like when you put something on a platform, not to say that Facebook isn't going to make software, and yes, to attend their Facebook events or whatever, basketball games or whatever that they're going to try to sling you, you're not going to have to use their software and sign in through Facebook and give your blood type and semen sample.
You don't
But-
know that.
But to actually use an Oculus Rift, I can't imagine if I want to play an Oculus Rift to play Team Fortress 2. I can't see Facebook touching that ever. Not to say they won't try, but I feel like there is going to be a way out there that someone makes a third-party driver or a handler or a wrapper or something for this piece of hardware, which is essentially 2 screens and a gyroscope. Not to oversimplify. It's a very complex and very impressive piece of technology, but it doesn't require some special sacred piece of software that only the holders of Facebook are going to know how to use. This stuff has been.
No words.
Yeah, but Facebook is already known to be an untrusting company or an untrusted company,
And I think that's why everyone's so defensive.
and inviting that kind of thing in something that, I mean, this technology is immersive. It's kind of I don't know. It extends your perception. It has a very personal impact on yourself, I think, anyway. And to let a company like Facebook get that deep into your brain
Is dangerous.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Again, I'm in the wait and see part of this. Part of me is glad I didn't buy the dev kit too, which I
Yeah.
considered. Because we'll see kind of what happens. I think that is what everyone's kind of afraid of. Is
I see.
What
I
did,
think.
what did the dev kit 2 go for?
same $300.
$300.
I think the thing that I just the big thing with me with this, and I already kind of mentioned it, was from the press release that I saw, or like the little note, like maybe just a little blurb of it. The first part that Mark Zuckerberg even said about the whole experience was that the virtual reality is like the next social experience and all that.
Sure.
And
Oh.
that right there just kind of was that right there is the stab in the back, because
Just
Yep.
shit in
gaming
your
was like
cereal.
the 4th one on the list of
Yeah.
what he's mentioning, and that's originally what this was designed for,
Yeah.
And I get that there will be other applications for this,
Yeah.
and that it's not ever gonna it's probably never intended to just be limited to that, but now you're gonna have all this. How much of that money is gonna be dedicated to the development of these other?
But those are the
assets?
developers. That's not for Oculus. Oculus is only worried about the hardware and the integration
That's
with
true
the PC.
too. That's a good
So what developers do with it is up to developers.
I don't want to play Bedazzled.
Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah, Candy Crush. I don't want to do it.
Dude, fully immersive Farmville.
Oh man.
I'm going to play devil's
Shoot me
advocate
in the
for a
throat.
second. I'm going to say best case scenario, right? Best case scenario, this is Facebook seeing the writing of the wall, realizing that they're going to be like MySpace and not exist in a couple years,
Yay!
and just extending kind of their investing in technologies that will be around in 5 years. So, best case scenario, they let Oculus do their fucking thing, and they, let them go their own separate way, and when they need to move into the Oculus Rift, they can, but at this time, I'm hoping that they're just kind of letting sleeping dogs lie and not creating any more issues. You know, just letting them finish out what they need to do and not messing with it. Develop their software on the side, do kind of everything they need to do for their own website, for that integration, and then everything else is still up to the community. But
Old Yeller.
we'll see. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the big news for this week. We're just gonna have to see what happens. I think everyone is kind of rightfully upset to one degree or another. Whether as a community we've done the best job communicating that, I don't know. There's been a lot of name calling and betrayal and you shit in my sandwich talk. But
He
we all
tried
gotta
to drink my milkshake.
they will be drinking our milkshakes.
See, this is an interesting establishment because before this, I mean, honestly, I think all of you guys were acting like, oh, Microsoft's going to make one, Sony's making one, but the Oculus is obviously going to be the better choice.
And now we're super happy that they are.
Right, exactly. Like, now it's like, well, these are viable options now.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Because Microsoft sucks, but they don't have their shit together to fuck us. Sony could give two shits. Like, they're just off in their own little world making video games at this point. Like, they've been cut off from pretty much every other aspect of Sony, and they don't have a giant marketing empire like even Microsoft does. So, they are the most benign at this point. You know, as soon as you tie an ad network to a fucking hardware peripheral, that shit gets dangerous.
Darkwing Duck.
All right. Well, I guess on that sad note, that concludes yet another episode of the Pixel Ship Podcast. Again, you can find this podcast, some articles, and a lot more information at pixelship.net. We also have a Facebook, Twitter, and email contacts on the website, too, if you want to reach out to us. I have been Ryan Hayes with Joel Hartlob,
Adios ustedes.
Ryan Blandy,
Don't kick me, bro.
and Neil Lebo.
Good night.
All right, we'll see you all next week.